Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sports for Supper here at Sammy's Restaurant. I'm Jared Lucky along with Maury Stein and Jeff Stivers here as well. And week 3 of our show here tonight. A lot of things to talk about. We're going to have football here tonight. We got cross country here as well. Always good when they're on the show.
Yep.
And we'll start with Coach Sanchez. Coach, thanks for joining us here this evening.
Thanks again for having us.
And Coach, you're moving into district play this week. So tell us a little bit about what you've learned from the first 2 weeks of the season and what you're taking into district this week.
Absolutely. We're learning as a team that we got to continue to compete. You know, I know I said this over and over again. I know the kids are doing it. I think they have to understand their angles. They have to understand certain techniques of a new defense that we're hammering home to them with the film study that we're doing, the reps that they're getting during practice. I think it's going to come around.
We kind of saw like last year against this same team. Kind of saw the same thing occur that in the second half they're just so physically so big. They just kind of wore Medina Valley down. But until that last score, Medina Valley was matching them in the second half once again, play for play, and it just seemed like it just run out of gas. Just one or two plays that could have happened one way or the other just seemed to turn the tide.
And they're big plays.
Yeah, and big plays. Yeah, big plays.
Well, the kids are learning, and we're learning as a staff too, and we're starting to grow together. That was the big message this week: was playing together, being unselfish, having discipline on both sides of the ball, whether it be making sure that we go on two or making sure that we don't jump off sides or blow a coverage, things like that. Football is the ultimate team sport.
Unity.
Yes, sir.
The first 2 games, I don't want to say that they're not important, but they're not district play. There's a lot of things that you're looking at to learn from there. Your season really starts Friday night because now it counts, it matters, that kind of thing. There's a very close game against Legacy a season ago. I think we lost by a 2-point conversion, basically, and on a 4th down play. Should be a real competitive game. Tell us a little bit about what they're going to do. Are they same players back? Do they have a lot of returners? Or?
We're expecting them, and they do have a lot of seniors, but we're expecting them to run straight at us. And, we saw them against Lee, and when they were doing that, when they were running straight at Lee, that's when they were controlling the game. So we're going to do our best to try to make them go east-west instead of north-south. On defense, they like to come at you, and this is one of those teams that if you can get them on their heels for a little bit, I think that you might be able to have a chance. Either way, I feel like our boys are working hard. I feel like they are getting better every day. If I didn't see any progress, I'd be feeling kind of scared, but we're not feeling scared right now.
As far as what scheme do they run on the defensive side of the ball?
It's like a 4-3 defense type, but they like to load the box with their outside linebackers and then really bring heat, especially on first down. And that's going to be important for us to win first down, third down, make sure that we can open up the playbook a little bit. But if we're pinned back, whether they come and get us or whether we shoot ourselves in the foot, then it'll be a long night.
It's not to harp on all the things, but what are the plans on kickoffs? Seems like are we trying to punch kick all the time, or is it just depends on the situation on how they look as a return team? Or
we're trying to find the place where we can kick it that is not going to be explosive. So we're trying to find the guy that's not going to hurt us on one big
play.
Yes, sir.
And we saw Jay do the exact same thing.
Yes.
I think the opening kickoff, it took 4 times for them to get it, and they kicked it different every single time.
And they had a very good scheme against us. We had to do some adjustments on the kickoff return to make sure that we can get a return or at least get a fair catch or what have you. But it was a chess match.
Yeah, and those guys against Jay, Medina Valley had a lot going for them with Guerrero running the ball for a long time. It just seemed like in the second half, Jay made some adjustments, and were going to sell out to shut him down. And, they did a pretty good job also. And, I mean, they're big physical guys, and I think that there was a lot to take away from that game moving forward.
Absolutely. And playing a team like that always is going to make you, I mean, it might not show on the scoreboard, it's always going to make you better.
Yeah, I've always been for playing tough opponents before district because you actually learn something from them, and it says something about your team. Whereas if you're going to thump somebody 50-0, what do you really learn out of it? You know what I mean? So
yeah, absolutely, I agree 100%.
But district play coming up here, it should be exciting. Your first game at Panther Stadium, tell us about the atmosphere. Was it what you were expecting, or?
Actually, it's not my first stadium. I coached
here on the opposite side.
Yes,
right. Okay.
So I knew what to expect as far as that's concerned. But what I did not know what to expect was with regards to the pep rally and stuff. That's probably one of the best pep rallies I've ever seen. The kids' spirit, their camaraderie. Everyone coming together was really awesome to see. This is a special place.
That's what I was going to ask you. Just noticing on the sidelines, there wasn't one young man that came off the field that was, dejected. They were all seemed like they had a positive attitude, that they know that things can change
at any minute.
100 minutes, at any time. And it's always the next man up mentality. And it seems like when it was 3rd and 13, I think it was, when we did the hook and lateral. And I tell you what, turned the ball game around at the time.
It did?
I mean, that was a positive note, and it just...
Tell us a little bit about the thought process going through that play. Was that something you were planning to use at some point, or was it just, hey, we need to get something going, let's try this and see what happens?
I know the offense was talking about it. I know that on the sideline when we went to I think we were coming out of a timeout or something like that when that and I'll be honest with you,
right before that play.
Yeah, and I believe that young Newton and Coach Medley had a little conversation about it. Talked about it, and went ahead and installed it, or not installed it, but we ran it, and it worked.
It's one of those things where the timing's got to be perfect, and it worked out perfect, and like you said.
But have y'all worked on that?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Yes, of course.
Because, I mean, if you hadn't and just drew it up on the sidelines, we need to take a copy of that and do some more, because it was perfect.
But the funny thing is sometimes during football games, you can kind of feel when something like that might happen. That was the last thing that I think anybody expected at that moment, and that's why it was such a big deal.
The boys have been working on it all week, and it was called at the right time. And again, anything can happen. We're excited about this week, though.
But one of the thing is too, one of the things for the kids to keep their head up for is, it's been a play here or there that's kind of turned the tide of the game, and all it takes is one of those plays to bounce your way for everything to go right. And eventually that's going to happen. You just have to be patient and wait for that to come and make it happen.
You heard the story about Greg Popovich about pounding the rock.
Oh yeah.
So that's exactly what we're doing, and we know that it's tough right now. We know it looks dark, but it's a long season.
Yep.
And we get to start district early.
Now,
exactly.
I talked to Ty's dad yesterday, Millis, and he said, we were sitting there and it was 3rd and 13, and he said Ty went out and went 7 yards down the field. And I said, what are you doing with 13 yards? He said, and all of a sudden he catches the ball and flips it. And he said he caught everybody by surprise. He said, well, you weren't the only one, because we were like, we need 13 yards. What's going on here? Did a 7-yard out, and then all of a sudden, well, see?
The perfect play.
The perfect play at the perfect time. So
with the perfect players.
Perfect players, absolutely. Well, I don't think there's really one player on that team that wouldn't want to be part of something like that. You got a lot of young men that would come through that I think they're building up momentum, they're building up positivity. And of course, that's all you can hope for is to improve every week. And I think it's coming. I think it's happening.
Well, you guys
got to instill it in them.
A lot of people don't see how these guys work during the week. They see what happens on Friday night. They see the final score. We see these guys every day, and I mean we see them 3 times a day. When they come in the morning for film, when they come in the morning for lift, they come in the afternoon. We take care of business there. Then they come after school. So we see them winning each different segment, and the challenge is to keep them positive, especially when the results aren't there yet.
What do y'all, after the Friday game is over, what is your weekend like?
Well, we visited Saturday in the morning, and we took care of business as far as our film is concerned. And then we went to the game. we saw Lou play. And then, of course, we conversed on Sunday to take care of that stuff as well. So, I mean, it's a weekend-long process.
Well, Coach, we're going to move on. You got a couple of players here. We appreciate you coming here and joining us, and good luck Friday night. And let's get a 1-0 district record.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break and come back. You're listening to Panther or Sports for Supper, and we'll continue here in just a moment.
Sammy's Restaurant and Havy's Alsatian Bakery, two legendary landmarks in Castroville. From breakfast to delicious hometown lunch specials and more, Sammy's satisfies your taste buds with the unique flavor of Castroville. And from fresh baked breads to pies and pastries, South Texans have made Havy's Alsatian Bakery a must-to-visit since 1940. Sammy's Restaurant, online at sammysrestaurant.com. Havy's Alsatian Bakery, online at havysbakery.com.
Texas, 268,000 square miles and then some. Twice as much elbow room as California. There's just no place like Texas. And you can take that to the bank. Texan Bank, poised and ready for a future that's wide open. Member FDIC.
Peerless Equipment, your South Texas irrigation experts. Peerless Equipment specializes in sales and service of irrigation equipment to the agricultural and wildlife industries. This includes hose reels, big guns, pivot systems, underground pipelines, turbine well pumps, booster pumps, motors, valves, and an inventory of much more. Stop by one of their locations in Hondo and Pearsall, or give them a call at 210-434-7867. Peerless Equipment, bringing water to you.
Welcome back to Sports for Supper. We just had Coach Sanchez on here talking a little bit about the game upcoming this week and a little bit about the J game last week. Now, the first week of the season, we had the left side of the offensive line on. Tonight, we've got the right side of the offensive line on. And, guys, start by telling us, or whichever one of y'all wants to start by telling us your name, year in school, number, that kind of thing, your position.
My name is James Fox. I'm a senior on the right guard.
And so tell us a little bit about the J game a little bit. So what did they do in the second half that was different from the first half? Because it looked like they were trying to sell out to stop the run.
Yeah, no, we saw a lot of like a bear front where they were just trying to load up the line. Like, so it's like we had a nose and then we had like 2s or 3s or 1s. So, and then we had the DNs, of course. So it would be like a 5-man front. And I mean, we were able to run through it a little bit, but they did get some stops.
And tell us a little bit about what you're going to see coming up from Legacy this week.
Another 4-man front. They like to, of course, be a 1, a 3, and then the ends. I don't think the ends play as wide. And let's see, Coach told us if we get a first down, they're going to try to load up the front to, push us back a little bit.
Yeah, having Guerrero back there that's a pretty good weapon to have. He's a hard runner. Yeah. He runs hard. Talk a little bit about that, knowing somebody that's not going to go down on first contact, that you have a running back like that running behind y'all. What does that do for y'all, knowing like, hey, if this guy gets an arm out there, he's just going to run through it or something like that? Does that help y'all, knowing that?
It gives us some confidence because we know he's a hard fighter, but we just make sure to stay on our blocks and everything will be good.
What is easier for you to block a team that sets up in narrow gaps or a team that widens the gaps out? Which you think is easier to handle?
Me personally, I would say kind of a wider front because like if we run like an inside play or whatnot, it will be easier to like kick them out or like just crash them down.
Being that you're the guard, do you? Well, a 4-3 front, you're going to have somebody lined up over the top of you, right?
In a way, yes.
Over your shoulder.
Pretty much, I would have a 1 or a 3. It depends what gap he's taking over.
Yeah, so like when you see someone with like a 3-man front, there's nobody right in front of you. So yeah. Is that Do you like facing that a little more? Like, do you have, or is your job more to help out on the line, or are you trying to get down to the linebackers?
If we get like a 3-man front, I would give help either side or like wherever my step takes me. Then I go to backer.
What do you like to do more, run block, pass block?
I would say run block. I like running it on them, knowing that we can too.
Knowing that you can push them around, because you guys, the entire offensive line, pretty stout.
Yeah.
You know, you've got size advantage over a lot of teams that you're going to be facing. I know you might not have had that against Jay. They had some pretty big boys.
They did.
But going forward in the district, I think you're going to have some size advantage. You're going to have size advantage against Legacy this week. Are they quick though?
I mean, what we were told is that like once we make contact, some of them like to give up and they'll stand straight up. So it'll be easy to drive them.
That's nice.
Yeah.
You like things like that.
It's a little break for us.
Do you do any other sports?
I do shot put and discus for track and field.
And you said you're a senior, right?
Yes, sir.
Any plans after high school?
Hopefully college football. And then I'll get hopefully try to go into petroleum engineering.
Okay.
And then if that doesn't work, I'll get my bachelor's in business and then my associate's in auto mechanic.
Awesome.
Got it planned out.
Yeah, for sure. Well, go ahead, Maury.
Any predictions? Any pancake blocks? You got to make some predictions. A couple of them, or 3 or 4, or
Let's say almost 300 yards rushing, and then like pancakes every play.
There you go. I like that.
And you got to. So when the other side of the line was here, they said they were the better side of the line. How does that sit with y'all?
No, it's all talk. It's all talk. We'll see on film.
Well, James, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We'll go to the next guy here, and tell us your name, position, year in school.
My name is Jonathan Burns. I am the right tackle. I'm a junior, and my number is 67.
And being on the tackle side of that, being a little farther out, tell us what you're seeing. Defensive ends mostly, or outside linebackers?
I see both. I get mainly defensive ends, and then occasionally I'll have an outside backer.
Would you rather be up against somebody that's down in a stance or standing up more in like a 2-point stance? Because sometimes they're down, sometimes they're not. What's easier to deal with?
I like a 3-point stance. I like a good body on body fight. So.
And tell us what you're going to see in your position against Legacy.
Against Legacy, luckily he'll be a little bit tighter than Jay was last week, so I like that. He'll be physical and he'll get off the ball, but should be able to pick him up pretty good.
So, what if the Panthers need 4th down and 2 yards? What play do you want them to call? Or y'all two are going to be road raiders?
2 yards, probably.
ISO right.
ISO right, and what does that entail?
Walk them down, run through.
Run through.
Run it through the ARB gap on our side.
But now is the tight end, it's a strong side usually on y'all's side, or is it the strong side usually on the left side?
Or they just move around?
Or do they move around?
He switches back and forth.
So the tight end can line up on either side depending on what the play is.
Depends on what
called.
the formation is.
Who would you rather have a tight end out on your side?
Oh, I love having a tight end. Just another pancake. Double teaming the outside backer. Oh, it's so much fun.
But what if he's running a route?
I got to get the end by myself, but let's bring it.
Now, how challenging is, because Jared asked you this question too, if you'd rather have a 3-point stance or somebody standing up. It seems like if they're standing up, it's that first step you take that's the most important. What kind of drills do y'all do, or what do you do to help that part out, to get that first quickness, that step outside without, I know I watch a lot of football and it frustrates me when I see the offensive line, it looks like a duck formation when everybody's supposed to be at the line of scrimmage and they let that tackle 2 feet back, and you don't see that with y'all guys. Y'all are on the line like you're supposed to. How hard is it to make that first step?
Well, it just depends on the play. We have a drill called dot drill, and it's basically we're going through our steps. So you have the flat step, a 45, and then a straight forward, and we do that every single day. and that helps make the
Twice a day during the
Yeah.
period and after school.
twice a day. It just helps make the making the step easier to figure out.
Now, do y'all see a lot of the first team defense at practice, or y'all work basically with the dummies or with the blocking deal, or do y'all see the
Live
first
action
team
a lot.
in live action? Y'all see the first team defensive line?
We get both JV and varsity defense, so it just depends on the day. But most of the time, we're almost always body on body.
So, do you guys? I know when you're sitting there on the line and the defense is moving around and trying to mess you up. What are you looking for as far as who's coming, who's not, blitzes, things like that when you're blocking? Are you is there a pre-snap routine that y'all all go through, or is this the center's, thing? Like, what do y'all go through when you come to the line? And you're looking at the defense, trying to figure, like, you're going to pass block, and you're trying to figure out what's happening here.
I think it depends on the position. Depending on what position you have, you look at different people. So as a tackle, if I'm pass rushing, I'll have the defensive end almost the entire time. But then you look for flips where the defensive end's going out and the tackle's coming in. Other positions, watching linebackers, making sure they're not, when they come up, you're calling them out, making sure we're getting them blocked.
You do other sports?
I do powerlifting and track.
Powerlifting. When does powerlifting happen? Is that's after football, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. I couldn't remember if it was after or entwined or how that worked. But and you're a senior also?
No.
I'm a junior.
You're a junior. Okay. So I know a lot of you guys, like James, you were a sophomore on the line. You were a freshman on the line, weren't you? You were a sophomore. And you were a sophomore last year, and you
Yes,
were
sir.
on the line also, right?
Yeah, he was here.
Yeah. So I know. I think all 5 of you guys were back from last year. Some of y'all were here from 2 years ago. Yeah. So has that helped you guys, playing with each other that long? Like, has it helped y'all, come together? Y'all a pretty tight-knit group?
Yeah.
I think as far as camaraderie goes, it's very strong and tight-knit. We're brothers on that line, and so we look after each other and make sure each one of us are doing our jobs.
Awesome.
We'll trust each other to take the right steps.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. And what you got? Oh, yeah, predictions.
Yep.
You got to do that.
Pancakes?
Yeah.
Looking for at least 3 to 4. 3 to 4 pancakes.
Yards rushing, yards passing, got an idea?
300 plus.
There you go.
Guys, thanks
Your
for
dad
joining
taught
us.
you
Yeah.
well.
Thanks for joining us.
Yours
Good luck on Friday night, and let's get that first district win.
Yes, sir.
We're going to take a break and come back, and then we're going to go into cross country. You're listening to Panther football. You're listening to Sports for Supper, and we'll continue in a moment.
Are you ready for a vacation? Tanya with Travel by Design can help you with all your vacation destination needs. At no cost to you, she can plan all of the details tailored to your unique wants and needs. So all you have to do is enjoy your vacation. Tanya is a certified expert with Disney, Universal Orlando, and California, Sandals, and all cruise lines. Give Tanya a call at 830-931-4834 or visit her Facebook page, Tanya with Travel by Design, for all the latest specials and must-do vacations.
Tandre Gwynn Funeral Home in Castroville, Texas, has been providing funeral services to families in the Medina Valley and surrounding areas for many generations. Tandre Gwynn Funeral Home is proud to support the broadcast by the Medina Valley Broadcast Network for the athletes and students participating in this event. Go Panthers! Tandre Gwynn Funeral Home, Castroville, Texas. You may view obituaries at Tandre, Tondre-Gwynn, Guinn.com, or visit the Facebook page of Tandre Gwynn Funeral Home to view funerals.
Bush's Chicken, one of the oldest locations in Castroville, is proud to serve the Medina Valley area. Bush's Chicken has one goal: be the best. Bush's Chicken knows its success comes from loyal customers in the communities they serve. Stop by Bush's Chicken on Tuesday and get the Tender Tuesday deal, or try their buffalo fries and ask about their Panther special. It's always a hit. Bush's Chicken, 935 Highway 90 East in Castroville. Call them at 830-538-2800.
Double T Outfitters offers deer, dove, turkey, quail, and exotic hunts in Southwest Texas on over 20,000 low-fenced acres. They facilitate professional guide services, lodging, and fantastic meals while providing the best in Southwest hunting. Contact Double T Outfitters to find out details about their current package hunts. Contact owner Brett Ferguson at 210-413-1597 or online at doubleTHunting.com. Sammy's Restaurant and Havy's Alsatian Bakery, two legendary landmarks in Castroville. From breakfast to delicious hometown lunch specials and more, Sammy's satisfies your taste buds with the unique flavor of Castroville. And from fresh baked breads to pies and pastries, South Texans have made Havy's Alsatian Bakery a must-to-visit since 1940. Sammy's Restaurant, online at sammysrestaurant.com. Havy's Alsatian Bakery, online at havysbakery.com.
Chase. All right.
Welcome back here to Sports for Supper, as we just had the football team on here, a couple of the linemen, and we had Coach Sanchez on, and now we're going to go to cross country and Coach Lacey Schott here. Lacey, thanks for joining us again this year. We always like having y'all on here. Tell us a little bit about the cross country team this year. How many people came out for cross country this year, things like that?
Well, started off with about 80, and we always lose a few, as they figure out what a grind it is. But we've got a solid about 65, and we've got a strong senior hold on the boys' side, and we've got some really fantastic seniors and upperclassmen on the girls' side. So I think things are looking very, very promising to have a stellar season.
How many, have y'all had any meets yet this year?
We've had 3. So far.
3 already.
Mm-hmm.
And how many can you do before your district meet?
I think 7. I think we can do about. I think we have 7 on our schedule. Then district, regionals, and state.
And you have one coming up this weekend, right?
We have one coming up. We're going to travel to Liberty Hill this weekend.
And it's so. I know the courses change based on who's setting them up, where it's at, things like that. When do y'all host a meet here?
We hosted a very large invitational with over 650 participants on August 27th, and so that was it was very well run. Our timer is amazing, and he really does a fantastic job, and we did pretty good. We got a lot of compliments, and our boys placed second overall behind Alamo Heights, and there was no malfeasance or tomfoolery in that regard. They really, Alamo Heights has a really fantastic men's cross country team, and our boys were right behind them, and I think we've got a lot to look forward to in that regard, because they're really running strong. And I think the girls got 7th overall, but about 15, 17 teams, so it was pretty competitive. A lot of fasties there.
I know Jared runs some Ironman stuff too, and what track or what kind of, course suits the Panthers better? One that's got a lot more obstacles, or one that's up and down more, or you can set up a course however you want, correct?
Right, and it's different types of terrain. We prefer softer surfaces, grass, and not concrete or asphalt, but ours is pretty good. And I think the Panthers run better on hilly courses, and we don't live in the hill country, and we don't have any mountainous regions, but we do have some steady inclines on our course, and we train them hard, and they do very well on hills. And
did you see and I don't know because I didn't run cross country, but do you see more trail running in some aspects of it, or things like that, or is it more pavement running?
Cross country is over the river and through the woods. A true cross country runner prefers the all-terrain type course. We went to Feast last week, and I think that was at some amphitheater right next to Retama. I'm not sure the location. I think a church owns it now, and it was 3 short loops. And so the really, elite females, which was a defending state champion, it was 3 successive loops, and, she lapped about 40 of the slower girls, and you don't see somebody getting lapped in a 5K, typically, and so sometimes when it comes to the course, it lends itself to.
That's an advantage.
Yeah, I mean it does, and certain courses. We have a fantastic course with the acreage combined with the middle school and the high school at Medina Valley, and it's really we get a lot of compliments. It's all grass. A couple of rainy years ago, I think we had like 48 inches that fall, and I mean we were able to keep the kids on the course, and so we can handle different types of weather. It's been real dusty, and when they're plowing those fields down there, boy, but we can handle it. And I've been putting in a bid this summer, as a matter of fact, with the UIL directors, and one day maybe we'll be able to host regionals at Medina Valley. I know that's UIL moves slow in any kind of rule or policy change, but we'll see. We could definitely handle the folks. That's why we run such a large meet. We'd be running on a school day, so parking would be a little bit of an issue. We could satellite maybe at the baseball fields. We'll see. But the UIL guys seem to be thinking about it, because we used to run regionals at UTSA, and now we go to Corpus Christi A&M, and we literally run around their sewage treatment plant. And there's a separate lane on the highway that when you go down there for inclement weather. And so,
the hurricane lane.
well, I mean, and we're only one storm system away, and we've been desperate to try to get it back in the San Antonio area. There's quite a few Austin teams that come, and it's tough travel, and it's just a different climate down there. And so we're hopeful. I mean, I know it would be hard. We don't have a lot of local, hotels that could handle the numbers, but, they could stay in town, and, there's just nowhere around that hosts, and it's tough. It's tough travels. So we're hopeful,
We were, before the football team got here, we were listening to y'all have a conversation about what time y'all have to leave to go to Liberty Hill.
Yes.
Y'all are leaving at 4 a.m.
Yes, sir.
What type of course have y'all run at Liberty Hill before?
Yes.
What is their layout?
It's kind of hill country-ish. It's a little hilly. I mean, it's beautiful drive up there. I think there's going to be a little bit of a difference in the course this year. Last year we ran on their middle school property, and this year we'll run more on the high school. So I think it'll be those successive loops that can get kind of hairy. But the start and the stop will be on the track, and that's always nice for spectators, because most courses you have to run cross country to watch it, and when it's a close start and stop, it's more fan friendly, and our kids run fast on the track, so we should do very well.
Let me ask you about that. So if it starts and stops on the track, obviously there's bleachers and stuff. They can see the kids start and finish
Sure.
right there. When they're on a course like that, do parents follow them? Like, what are the rules when it comes to following your child around on the course? Or as a coach following your kids around?
There are certain rules, I think, with the USA track and field and cross country manuals where, you can't aid them, you can't touch them or, pick them up and carry them around. And I think it's so many successive steps. It's kind of like that in track. You can't run alongside. And, we always have, I got into this trouble when I was a over-enthusiastic young coach, but, they'll trail them or, run right next to them. And if you go a certain distance, you can't,
Can you talk to them?
You can talk to them and scream and shout at them. I'm very good at that. And, some parents bring cowbells and whistles. And we had some kids, they had I guess they were from New Braunfels with the imaginary mascot, the unicorns. And they had unicorn hats on, and they were blowing some kind of horn that sounded, Viking-esque. It was fantastic. So it was like, and they were, just shooting for the kids, tooting their horns. So it's fun. I don't think I can, Jeff. I don't think I can. Maybe later.
You talked earlier about, you have a bunch of kids come out until they see the grind of cross country. Kind of describe that. Like when you say
It's
the
tough.
grind, what do these kids go through on a daily basis?
We start practice at 6:30. So most of them start coming in about 6:15. We typically lift, every other day. We'll static stretch the kids, lift weights, or, and I mean, a long run day is 6 or 7 miles. On a course, we go down Rice Lane and sometimes run to Lacoste or stay on the campus. Other days are, repeat track workouts with, either doing repeat miles on the track or repeat, half miles, repeat quarters. And I mean, it's tough. We tell the kids, you're going to walk onto the track, boys and, walk off men, because I mean, we work them and, they hurt. I mean, it's such a grind, and their joints hurt, their muscles hurt. And, we have to tell them, you're going to hurt as a runner, a distance runner, and you're going to, your feet are going to blister. And I mean, it's just blood, sweat, and tears. So, they get all muddy and they get wet, and, the dew in the morning, the dust in the afternoon. I mean, it's just a grind. I got 12 minutes to shower and get to class, and we do typically have. It's been a very interesting phenomenon. And I noticed this when I was a kid at Medina Valley Running. In all the years that I've coached, we get some of the smartest, hardest working kids, and I mean, and they work. They work hard, and and they do it before most people get to school, and the bonus, I guess, the competitive side to showcase all that we've worked for over the week is, get up even earlier on Saturday morning and, go race. And,
Back to the grind.
Yeah, you talked about how the drive up there is pretty. Well, it's not in the dark. So
no, that's
you'll never
true.
see
You're
it.
right. That is true. That is true.
When is district?
Districts, I think October 13th or 14th, whichever day that's that Thursday. I think it's the 13th. So.
And then how does that work? Regionals like 2 weeks after that?
The regionals will be on the 24th, and I think the 23rd and the 24th. It's a Monday, Tuesday. And so all the regions in Texas, all 4 run at the same time, and then state will be, those same 2 days, 2-day meets. And so COVID has kind of, naturally evolved our sport. So we used to run all 6 regions on one day. I mean, that was, it was wham bam, thank you ma'am, like we got them all in, but it was kind of chaotic, I mean, it was thousands and thousands of people and hundreds of racers. And so now it's 3 divisions per day, and it's, they've done the same in track and field, so it's not just
it's such a
all
long
of it,
day.
and it's nice, it is. And I mean, what it does, and cross country is kind of cruel in this aspect, because you run your varsity typically 7:30, 8:30, early in the morning, and then you have your JVs, and then you have your middle schools, and by noon, 11, 10, 11 noon, it's hot, and I mean, you typically have your weakest runners running, the hottest part of the day. And so, it's state. What it does is having 2 days puts earlier races, because I mean, down in Corpus, I mean, if they're running it, later in the afternoon, because with each successive race, it gets later and later, and it gets hot, and I mean, and it's kind of dangerous sometimes, with the humidity levels and things like that. So it's interesting. So.
Well, Coach, thanks for joining us. Good luck to y'all in the season upcoming.
Thank
here.
you.
Good luck on Saturday at your meet in Liberty Hill.
Yes, thank you.
And I think you brought some runners with you,
Yes,
right?
yes.
We're going to talk to them here in just a second. We're going to take
Yeah.
a break and come
Okay.
back. And you're listening to Sports for Supper, and we'll continue in a moment.
Texas, 268,000 square miles and then some. Twice as much elbow room as California. There's just no place like Texas. And you can take that to the bank. Texan Bank, poised and ready for a future that's wide open. Member FDIC.
Peerless Equipment, your South Texas irrigation experts. Peerless Equipment specializes in sales and service of irrigation equipment to the agricultural and wildlife industries. This includes hose reels, big guns, pivot systems, underground pipelines, turbine well pumps, booster pumps, motors, valves, and an inventory of much more. Stop by one of their locations in Hondo and Pearsall, or give them a call at 210-434-7867. Peerless Equipment, bringing water to you.
Are you ready for a vacation? Tanya with Travel by Design can help you with all your vacation destination needs. At no cost to you, she can plan all of the details tailored to your unique wants and needs. So all you have to do is enjoy your vacation. Tanya is a certified expert with Disney, Universal Orlando, and California, Sandals, and all cruise lines. Give Tanya a call at 830-931-4834 or visit her Facebook page, Tanya with Travel by Design, for all the latest specials and must-do vacations.
Tandre Gwynn Funeral Home in Castroville, Texas, has been providing funeral services to families in the Medina Valley and surrounding areas for many generations. Tandre Gwynn Funeral Home is proud to support the broadcast by the Medina Valley Broadcast Network for the athletes and students participating in this event. Go Panthers! Tandre Gwynn Funeral Home, Castroville, Texas. You may view obituaries at Tandre, Tondre-Gwynn, Guinn.com, or visit the Facebook page of Tandre Gwynn Funeral Home to view funeral notices.
Welcome back here to Sports for Supper, as we just had Coach Schott on talking about cross country, and now we're joined by 4 of the runners. We got 2 guys and 2 girls here with us, and we'll start one of the guys down on the end. If you'll tell us your name and your year in school.
I am JP, and this is my last year.
And I think you came last year, didn't you? Didn't do the show last year? Yeah. Have you been running since you were a freshman at Medina Valley, or
since
before that?
I was 8th grade.
Since you were 8th grade.
Yep.
And tell us a little bit about what you're trying to improve on from last year to this year. Like, what are your goals for this year?
So my main goal is, of course, make it a state, because I didn't do that last time. And what I've been doing is definitely focusing on injury prevention, because that was a big thing that happened last year, and it kind of crushed my dreams. No. But it's all good now. But those are the 2 main things I've been working on.
And so when you look at your run coming up, like you're going to the Liberty Hill meet.
Mm-hmm.
I know the courses are all different, so it's kind of hard to go off of your times. But is timing a big thing to you? Like, do you look at what you're running, like your pace per mile, things like that?
Timing is a major thing for me. I always try to get a little bit faster every time. I can usually think about there was a big hill here, or that it was a lot harder than usual. So I usually take that to account when I'm looking at my times.
And now with the invention of tracking watches and things like that, do you look at heart rate? Is that something that y'all look at a lot? Things like that? That
is what I obsess with over. I'm always looking at what my heart rate was, and if I can go a little bit faster.
And so when you're looking at that, and you know, hey, it's a little lower than what I can. You speeding up, or are you hey, I got a hill here, I want to kind of maintain what I'm doing? What goes through your mind when you're running a race like that?
So when I'm running a race, I don't look at my heart rate, because I know it's really distraction. But after a race, I'm okay, so if my heart rate's a lot lower than it should be, and I'm I can push it probably harder than usual.
So I know you guys run a lot in the mornings for practice, and you run in the mornings for all your meets mostly. Lately, it's been so humid in the mornings. I've done runs in the mornings, I've done runs in the afternoon. I almost rather run when it's 100 degrees than when it's 90% humidity.
Yeah.
How do y'all deal with that? Are y'all able to carry some kind of water with you? Are there stations? How does that work?
No, we just deal with it. It's just
no,
we just suffer.
No hydration.
No hydration.
We just suffer.
Do y'all drink a lot of water before you run, things like that?
Of course, we always make sure we stay hydrated.
And when you wake up early in the morning to go on something like that, how do you start nutrition-wise for your body? Certain things you eat, certain things you drink?
This is my secret. I like to eat peanut butter toast, and sometimes I drink a cup of coffee. Usually energy drinks, because I don't know. And or caffeinated. There's this thing called run gum. It's just caffeinated gum.
So what are things that you can't use? Like is pre-workout banned, things like that, or
It's not banned, but it's awful for running.
It's awful
I
for-
used it in my junior track season year, and it does not. It makes you feel sick.
but the energy drinks work better.
They do.
Which is funny because I've experienced like I drink a Bang before I do like a Spartan race or something, and
Yeah.
it really like helps.
I mean, there's a lot of other ingredients when it comes to pre-workout. There's like Coopazine. There's a lot more caffeine than there are in energy drinks, so it's
Okay.
that's how it is.
Okay. So y'all run as individuals, but it's a team effort also, right? So tell us a little bit about how the structure works there.
So we always push each other. Like I have Mark at the end. He always pushes me to do my best. And Tim, he wasn't able to make it today. Sometimes he has to give me motivational speeches to keep on pushing it, but we're always there for each other to push.
And so how does the team thing work? Like, does it go by who places what? Do y'all get so many points for how y'all place? Like, how does that work as a team competition?
So the amount of what do you call it? So the highest place we make, the lower points we score, and it's kind of like I think it's like golf, where the highest points is the loser and the lowest points is the winner.
I got you. Okay. Anything, Maury?
No.
Do you run track also?
I do run track.
Yeah, long distance and track.
The mile, 2 mile, and that's it. I don't like the 800.
And you said you're a senior, so any plans after high school?
I want to go to UTSA. That's my dream college because it's close.
You want to run there?
Yeah, of course I want to run there.
Awesome. Well, good luck in the meet coming up, and good luck on the season.
Thank you.
And we'll move on to the next person here who is about to run away. If you'll tell us your name and year in school.
I'm Jaslyn, and this is my junior year in school.
And how long have you been running cross country?
This is actually my first year running. Yeah.
And you're on the varsity team?
I am. I started running maybe like 2 summers ago just to get the feel of it, because I was trying to like work on my body and lose weight. And then I just fell in love with it, and it's something that I love doing. And then I had joined track. I used to be a volleyball player, but I joined track, and my first 2 meets I ran JV, and coach thought I was really good, so he moved me up to varsity, and I ran the 800 for varsity. And he encouraged me to do cross country, and I was like, okay, why not try it? Like, test my distance. And so I did, and I ended up falling in love with it, and I ended up like really sticking to it and getting better every day.
Tell us a little bit about like during the off season. How do y'all like prepare and keep preparing during the off season? Do you take some time off? Do you just run year round?
So during the off season, we mainly run just so that way we don't lose what we have. Like in the summers, it was an off season, so we were still having summer practices. We had optional, and then towards the end of July, I know we had mandatory practice, which it was preparing us for our season. But we do still run. We try not to take time off, but it is needed.
Yeah.
Can you, in the off season, can you still join runs? Can you still go and do people still have cross country events where you could go on your own?
Or like, can
as
y'all
an
enter like
individual, or-
5Ks or 10Ks and things like that? Are y'all allowed to do that?
Yes, we are. Actually, I have never I've never done any like outside 5Ks outside of school, but I know that you can enter. We have a Santa Sleigh 5K, and we also have a Thanksgiving one, I think.
Yeah, the turkey trot thing. Yeah.
And this was something you just decided you wanted to do a couple years ago? Nobody influenced you or said, hey, maybe you want to come out and try cross country? Or you just said, you know what, I like to run and I'll try it, give it a try?
So basically, it was something that I just woke up one day and I was just like, oh, running. Like it was never one of the sports that I thought that I'd be doing now, and I'd actually be good at it. It was just something that I was doing for fun and like to work on my health at first. And throughout the summer, 2 summers ago, I would run a mile each day just to see where I was at. And I was running like pretty rough miles. I was running like a 10-minute mile, and now I'm at like a 6-minute mile.
Wow.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about how you guys put on distance. So, like, you started at a mile. What does a cross country mean? 2, 3? What is it? A 5K?
A 5K is 3.1 miles.
Yeah. And what's a cross country meet roughly? How long are they?
5Ks.
It is 5K.
Yeah, it's a 5K.
Okay. So how did you go from a mile and start adding distance on? Like, was it just like small intervals here and there, or did you just one day say, I'm going to try to run 4 miles?
So what I do, like for my personal preference, is I try adding like half a mile. I don't go straight into the full mile, because if I go straight into the full mile, I know that I would break my body down, because I know myself better than anybody else. And so whenever I started out with half a mile, and then I went to a mile the next day, and then a mile and a half. And then I think the max that I was running in one day was probably 6 miles. I never got up to 10, but I'm still working on that.
And that's a goal. You want to do that.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what your goal is for the season this year. Like, what would make you happy this year?
So since it's only my first season in cross country, I'm really hoping of making it to regionals, because last season in track I did end up making it to regionals by default, but I still did end up making it. It was a pretty good experience. I ended up placing dead last, but it was very fun.
And you're going to run track again this year?
I am. I'm hoping to run the 400. No, not the 400. The mile, the 4x4, and the 800.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. And was it as bad as you thought it would be?
No, it was actually pretty, like, I have y'all in front of me, so I'm, like, talking to y'all.
And we'll go on to the next person. And if you'll tell us your name and year in school.
Hi, I'm Peyton Trowbridge, and I'm a senior.
And you were here last year?
Yes.
Okay. And you remember being here last year?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what your goal is from last year to this year. Like, what are you trying to improve on the most?
So I went through a rough patch of passing out a lot. I actually, like, passed out at district as well and had to go to the hospital and everything. But last weekend was my first weekend where I didn't pass out, and so right now I'm just trying to focus on, well, not passing out and making it to state, because I could have qualified for state with my time individually last year.
That sounds like a scary thing for you.
Very scary.
You want to talk about that a little? Like, tell us a little bit. If you don't, it's fine.
I really just don't even remember passing out. It's happened almost a year ago. It'll be next week. It'll be a year. It was at the Islander meet, and it's in Corpus, and it was right before the finish line, and I just passed out constantly, a total of 31 times. Didn't know what a thermometer was or anything. Like, I don't even remember passing out.
Is that like a dehydration thing, or?
None of the doctors know what's wrong with me. I get headaches when I'm in the sun, but those have really gone away. But like, I'm doing better. People think it's anxiety now, but.
Well, that shows how much you enjoy running.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you are willing to put yourself through that to keep running, you must really love it.
Yes, I do love running.
Do you do any other like events outside of school, like 5Ks, things like that?
Yes, I actually run with Run Local in Castroville.
Okay.
Allie Welch, I work around with her, and we do 5Ks a lot together.
Cool. So what's a typical day like for you for cross country, like in the mornings? Like, what do y'all go through?
It depends on like the days. During cross country, during school, like Mondays are our long runs. We'll run for like an hour and like 30 minutes max. And then Tuesdays we'll go to the weight room and just do like some fast, speedy work, and then we'll just rotate that around every day. So
when you were passing out, you don't remember?
I don't remember a thing.
How long were you actually out? I mean,
last year when I first passed out, I was out for maybe, the doctor said like 2 weeks or something like that. And then after that, I got straight back in, and then, like, during practices, I wasn't.
You were passed out for 2 weeks straight?
Oh, no. I was
that's
just
what he
out.
meant, like, how long were you, like, passed?
No, you said
I just really love track.
Yeah.
No, I passed out for, I think it was maybe, like, an hour and a half, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, I just woke up in an ice bath, and I was like, dang, this is cold. It was my first ice bath ever. There's, like, rubber duckies in it. It was so weird. But, yeah.
And they still haven't determined what, not hydration?
No.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That is.
So when did you start running? Like did you start in middle school, freshman year?
I actually started back in elementary, like 4th grade. You know those like elementary track races that they did? That was my jam, the 400.
And what made you just say, I want to run 3 miles?
Really? I just wanted to. I was just like, oh, it's running and I like winning, so let me try it.
That's fun. My wife doesn't understand me wanting to run.
I don't think anybody understands.
No, she's not a runner, and so she's like, I can't believe you want to put yourself through that in the heat. I'm like, you know.
Yeah, I can eat whatever I want after, so that's the benefit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what is your goal for the year? Like, what would make you happy at the end of the year?
To finish at regionals, knowing that like if I make it to state or not, I'm still like proud of like how far I've come, and to get ready for track season. So.
And what will you run in track?
I'll be running the 800, the mile relay, and maybe the mile. Haven't decided yet.
And what are your plans after high school?
Run in college, 100%. But if not, walk on to Abilene Christian University. So.
Awesome. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
And we'll move on. But good luck in the season upcoming.
Thank you. There you go.
And if you'll tell us your name and year in school.
My name is Mark Castro, and I'm a junior.
You're a junior. And is this your first year on varsity or no?
I've been varsity since my freshman year.
Since your freshman year. Were you here last year too?
No,
you weren't. Okay.
I was sick that day.
Okay. On purpose sick? Did you want to talk on the radio like some of us? So when did you start running? So you've been doing it since a freshman in high school.
I've actually started running like since I was 5 or 6 years old, whenever my mom was in the military, because I think it was just her and I at the time. And she tells me that I had a lot of energy when I was a little kid, and so the only way to get me tired was to get me running with her. And so I didn't keep up with her, but I still ran with her, and for some reason, instead of crying or something, because it was long and running is hard, I just kept going with her. And I actually started cross country in middle school. I actually didn't want to run cross country. I heard my teacher talking about it because at the time she was the coach, and I didn't tell my mom about it because I knew she was going to tell me to run. So she's the one who actually got me to start running cross country, and I knew I was a decent runner, but I just for some reason didn't want to run cross country. But she got me into it, and I fell in love with running, and I fell in love with my coaches, and so it just kept getting more from there, running.
Who was the teacher?
Her name's Miss Grable. She's in California. She was my teacher then.
What's your goal for the year, this year?
For the year, to make it to state with my teammates, because I know we've been really close and we've actually qualified for state my freshman year, but it was COVID that year, so they cut off 4th place.
Oh.
And that's the spot that we made. But this year, I think we actually have a chance, and we got a nice batch of runners.
So let me get this. So 4th place is normally a state qualifier, but because of COVID, they lopped it off at 3.
Right.
Oh,
that stinks.
That's rough.
What difference does that make?
Yeah.
The number of people. They were trying to keep the number of people down.
I understand that, but
that's rough, though. Talk us through a normal day for you. I know Coach talked about you got like 12 minutes to get ready for school in the morning after you run and things like that. You just kind of throw some stuff on and go to school and not care like what you look like or things like that, or
I try to look decent, but in the mornings it's kind of hectic because we got to get up really early, and then we're all crazy. We love waking up early and putting our bodies through pain because we're just we're built different. We love running. But Mondays are usually our long runs. Tuesdays are hills. Wednesdays is a rest period where we just jog for like half an hour. Thursdays we do intervals, and Fridays we do another cool down run.
What's your most hated day? Intervals?
No, I think I like all the days.
Really?
Yep. I love running.
Because there's always that one thing you're like, I got to do this. You don't want to do it, but you know.
We all complain every day, but at the same time, when we go out there, we're like, okay, let's do this.
And so he said earlier, you know, in the humidity and you just deal with it. Is you the same way, like you just deal with it?
Yep.
So when you got a teammate like passes out over here, does that affect y'all in some way? Like, hey, that could happen to any of us. Like when you run, anything can happen to you while you're running, obviously. So you ever think about stuff like that?
Not for
Not really.
myself, but because I know I try to stay hydrated. But I do look out for my teammates, making sure that they're stretched and hydrated, and that we're all healthy and fit as much as we can be. Because with running repetitively, we get injured mid-season.
Your off season, do you run any of them on your own? Any like a circuit or something like you can get into 5Ks like you said in the summer? Do you keep that?
I try my best, but if I'm weird. If I'm not told to run, or if I don't have to run, or if I'm not made to run, then I probably won't run. But I know in the in Thanksgiving and winter break, I do the turkey trot and the Santa Sleigh 5K.
What was I going to ask you? Oh, you were talking about making sure everyone's stretched right.
Yes.
Talk about how important that is, because that's the most neglected thing with runners is I don't have time to stretch, and I'm one of the worst about that. So talk about how important stretching is.
Stretching is really vital to running, because with all the repetitive motion of your muscles just beating down every single time you step, you have to stretch constantly, because after a run you're going to get sore, you're going to have that lactic acid, and your joints will take the most hits, and you just need to stretch and drink a lot of water so that your body is recovered, and it can recover, so that you're not running cold, because you'll get injured most likely if you don't stretch.
What would your time be? Your personal best time would you like to reach this year?
I want to go for a low 16-minute 5K. My fastest right now is a 16:33.
Do you like running on the pavement more or on the trails?
On the trails. I love the trails.
And that actually slows you down a little bit than like pavement running, right? Like y'all run a little slower on trails because like your footing and things like that.
Right.
So are there things like when they put you on trails, is it kind of roots, rocks, things like that? Are there a lot of that?
Dirt. What else?
A lot of things that'll roll your ankle.
Yes, ankles have to be stretched also. Yeah, just a lot of rocks, loose holes are bad.
In the ground. There's a lot of cracks, things like that when it's dry, I'd imagine.
Yep.
Jesus.
Do you have any body fat at all?
Your muscle.
I think so.
Oh, to be young again, huh?
Absolutely.
Well, good luck in the season coming up, and hopefully, you guys. Good luck to all of you.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us here this evening, and hopefully, we'll hear about y'all. What things you? Oh, are you going to run track too? Do you run track also?
Yes, I run the mile and the 2 mile.
And the 2 mile. Okay. Well, thank you all, and we'll see y'all down the road. And y'all are listening to Sports for Supper, and we'll come back and wrap it up in a moment.
Thank you.
Bush's Chicken, one of the oldest locations in Castroville, is proud to serve the Medina Valley area. Bush's Chicken has one goal: be the best. Bush's Chicken knows its success comes from loyal customers in the communities they serve. Stop by Bush's Chicken on Tuesday and get the Tender Tuesday deal, or try their buffalo fries and ask about their Panther special. It's always a hit. Bush's Chicken, 935 Highway 90 East in Castroville. Call them at 830-538-2800.
Double T Outfitters offers deer, dove, turkey, quail, and exotic hunts in Southwest Texas on over 20,000 low-fenced acres. They facilitate professional guide services, lodging, and fantastic meals while providing the best in Southwest hunting. Contact Double T Outfitters to find out details about their current package hunts. Contact owner Brett Ferguson at 210-413-1597 or online at doublethunting.com. Sammy's Restaurant and Havy's Alsatian Bakery, 2 legendary landmarks in Castroville. From breakfast to delicious hometown lunch specials and more, Sammy's satisfies your taste buds with the unique flavor of Castroville. And from fresh baked breads to pies and pastries, South Texans have made Havy's Alsatian Bakery a must to visit since 1940. Sammy's Restaurant, online at sammysrestaurant.com. Havy's Alsatian Bakery, online at havysbakery.com.
Texas, 268,000 square miles and then some. Twice as much elbow room as California. There's just no place like Texas. And you can take that to the bank. Texan Bank, poised and ready for a future that's wide open. Member FDIC.
Welcome back here to Sports for Supper. As we had football on here earlier, we had the cross country team on. Always thanks to them. Always great interviews with those.
We had a battle of the left tackle, guard, right tackle, right guard.
Yep, we had the left side of the line on earlier this year and right side on tonight.
Sandwiched in between the what do you call them? The quarterback and the running back. The
what?
Premier, or not Premier,
not the fresh air boys.
Well, no, but not the ones that are on the line doing the dirty work. They're the ones that reap the rewards for the blocking.
Get the names in the paper.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so I know a little update for everything. I know volleyball lost last night to Floresville, 3-1, right?
Very good Floresville team.
And then we will be doing their district opener is this Friday night at home against South San, and that game will be on MVBN2.
Yep.
And that's a new member of the district.
That is a new member,
and brought in South San.
And actually, South San's supposed to be pretty good too. So it'll be an interesting matchup for their first district game. We'll be on live. Hopefully, Dwayne will be feeling better by then, and we'll be on as soon as the JV game's over. 6:15. We actually went on about 6:30 last night. So.
Oh, good.
6:15, 6:30. They'll be on MVBN2,
and then we'll be on the Medina Valley Broadcast Network Friday night as the district opener for the Panthers. Football team will open up against Southwest Legacy at home. That's a 7 o'clock kickoff. We'll be on around 6:40, 6:45-ish to bring you that game. And, Panthers 0-2 to start the year. They played 2 pretty good opponents. Moving into district, hopefully there's some things that they've learned from those 2 games that they can apply to this game coming up and get a win.
Yep.
I know Coach Sanchez was still pretty, he's optimistic. He's feeling good about his team, and, they had some things to learn from going forward.
Yeah, I told him tonight again, I saw more positives in that game than we did the first game. And, there's some learning curves. They're still learning. This is still a new offense and a new defense, and, there's still things that are going to happen, and, how do you respond to those things? And I was pretty impressed, again, how our kids responded. I know it wasn't immediate sometimes, but I think sometimes they got just a little out of character for Medina Valley. I mean, they had guys getting hooked, defensive ends getting hooked. You had missed tackles on that long run. You had several missed tackles, and we haven't seen stuff like that around here in a long time. So, and those are correctable mistakes. It's the mental mistakes, and when the mistakes happen that we've got to continue to work at. So, looking forward to it.
Well, and we're not the only team in the district that has started out 0-2. It's really surprising the teams that are 0-2 right now. Medina Valley's 0-2, Southwest is 0-2, Southwest Legacy's 0-2.
Probably Eagle Pass win. They might be 0-2 also.
So, I mean, there's some
couple of the Laredo schools
that are struggling early as well. So
yeah, but everybody's 0-0 right now. So
exactly.
Yeah, and they played the Panthers. I don't know about the other teams, but Medina Valley played two pretty good
quality
teams.
opponents.
Yeah, exactly.
I guarantee you they won't play 2 teams as good as those in the next 8 games.
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah, because I think Legacy's probably picked to win the district. You know, so you get the toughest opponent right off the bat. So and every week's going to be tough. You can't relax with anybody.
Well, and that's what makes it exciting.
Yep.
You know, you should be in every game.
Tune in every week. You never know.
Yep. And what else, guys? Anything
That's
else?
about it.
Yep.
Ready for Friday.
Yep, ready for Friday night. Like I said, tune in to the volleyball MVBN2. That's their district opener at home. Medina Valley Broadcast Network for the boys, their district opener at home against Legacy. Or just come out and support both of them, you know, in the gym or on the football field. Or come to both. So for Maury and Jeff, I'm Jared Lucky saying good night. God bless, and we'll see you on Friday night when